Hi guys, welcome back to part 3 of this Introduction to Health and Social Care coursework for Year 2. This is going to be quite a short one actually, because there's not really much on social institutions as a topic, so we're going to fly through this. So welcome back and let's get cracking. So first thing is we're going to talk about the main social institutions, the main key features of society. As you can see on this graph, there are loads of key institutions. So as mentioned before, family, education, religion, healthcare, legal systems, economic systems, political systems. These are the institutions which keep society working. And as I mentioned in previous video, at the moment, this current issue highlights that institutions like the health care settings are really significant for keeping society going. Obviously, within this also, family is currently really important, so not being able to see family, but obviously family are now taking bigger role in sort of providing support, and obviously education systems have had to change and adapt. Now, as part of our coursework, these are the 3 social systems we are going to focus on predominantly when we include them in our write-up for P1. But let's take a look at what they do. So with the family is the people we live with. So this is the people in your home, and this is our first major institution. Now, as we said previously, as a part of socialization process, family provides what we call primary socialization, where you learn basic norms and values, you learn rules, regulations, structures, language. You learn to be part of society from your family. And it's really important that family performs this function, because it means that you can be part of the society around us. So family networks are really important, but it's also important to recognize that the roles, the relationships within a family are very diverse. So we don't just have one type of family in our society. There's whole different types of families, all different roles and responsibilities. We all have lots of different experiences of family life. And that's obviously one of the big things that's different. One of the things we talk about in sociology is this notion of the family. But actually there is no one type of family really anymore. So ultimately there's a lot of family diversity. But the main thing and the key feature, as we see here, is that the family provides rearing and protection of the young, so raising the children, mutual support for all the members. And this is key. This is what the family does very well. Raises children and provides support for one another. Now, not every family does it perfectly, but most families are doing this really well. Now, in sociology, a lot of the sociology theories that we're going to look at talk about something called the traditional nuclear family. Now, as a good example, I think The Simpsons are always a really good example of this. They are a traditional nuclear family. Mum, dad, heterosexual couple, married, and their biological children, and there's almost like 2.5 children, living in the same house. Mum stays at home, or Marge stays at home, dad goes to work. That is a traditional nuclear family. Now, we don't really have that as often in society today. We've seen diversity with same-sex couples, as you can see here. We've got single-parent families. But even within a nuclear family with mum and dad, the roles have changed, that both parents now work. So a lot of the theories we talk about something called the traditional nuclear family, but just as a sort of emphasis or heads up, that doesn't really exist anymore. It's what we sometimes refer to as a zombie concept. So a lot of sociologists treat it as if it's alive, but the reality is that it's dead. It doesn't exist. So what I would say is take a look in your pack at this point, and if you can fill in the gap fill in there. I think most of the answers are on the screen here, but what I would say is pause this video and put those answers into your gap fill. Now, just as a little pause of thought and a little bit of thinking for you to do, the UK is what we call multicultural society. So it's a big mixture of different cultures, of ethnicities, religions, values, beliefs. It's a whole big mix of people. And as a result, we are a very diverse society. and we have a lot of family diversity and diversity of family types. Now, what I'd like to do, just to kind of make sure you understand these, is I've got 4 family types here. So nuclear, extended, single parent, and reconstituted. And if you don't recognise what these family types are, do a little bit of research and just find out what is a nuclear family, what is an extended family, what is a reconstituted family. Now, reconstituted, you may have heard it called other things like a step family or a blended family or a I'll say reconstitute, but that's the name there. So there are lots of different ways and names for these family types, but just make sure you're familiar with these definitions, either using the textbook or a little bit of research. And then you've got this link here for a video advert, and I think it's a home chips advert. But again, how many family types can you see in the video link? And that will be in the PowerPoint or in the sort of resources that you've been sent. So make sure you take a look at that and just think about how diverse family life is. So again, there's a little extension task where you can pause the video, have a think, identify the 4 family types as we've just seen on the previous slide, and then what I'd like to do is think about the positives and negatives of living in that family type on the health and development of the individual. So think about pies. So for example, with the reconstituted family, we've talked about sibling rivalries and conflict that can appear within single parent families. We've talked about issues like deprivation and poverty. So think about the family types and just think about some of the positives and negatives of living within those family types. And as I say, pause the video and do that in your own time. Now, health and social care values. Now, we've mentioned socialisation already. So, it's a key part of society and protecting children and the vulnerable and older people. So health and social care institutions are essential in our society. And again, healthcare is just as diverse as family life. I would say that you've got residential care, you've got hospital care, day visits, you've got home visits. So the healthcare system in this country is just as diverse as family life, and there's so many different branches and elements to it. Now, just like family life, it has its role providing support and care. And again, this has to adapt to the diversity of society. So as it says here, in Islamic and Hindu cultures, care is normally provided at home by grown-up children and grandchildren, whereas in British families, residential care and other support services are more commonly used. So when it comes to health and social care services, as you can see, healthcare is performed by professionals. There's lots of different types of healthcare. So we've got statutory healthcare, private healthcare, and non-profit healthcare. Now, again, what I'd like to do is either using the textbook, which is page 7 and 8, or a little bit of internet research. I'd like you to go into your pack and complete the task on just summarising, and it doesn't have to be a massive summary, but what is the difference between statutory, private, and non-profit? Again, all these answers you'll find in the textbook or through your research. Okay, so again, it's a chance for you to pause the video and have a go at that task. Okay, there we go, guys. So, thank you for watching. So this part 3 was a very short section overall, but as I say, just outlines a little bit about some of those main institutions, particularly family and healthcare. Education is also important, but I think it kind of gets lumped in with secondary socialisation and continuing what the family does. So it's not a one that we need to spend too much time talking about. But as I say, thanks for watching part 3, and hopefully I'll see you guys in part 4. Take care.